Forequarter yields is the second exercise we use to isolate body parts and move them independently. They are the exact opposite of hindquarter yields. Our first goal is to move our horse's forequarters away in a circle, while achieving our second goal, which is to hold the hindquarters still. And as always, our last goal is to minimize the required pressure. Being able to move the entire front end of our horse is a milestone in our safety plan. If we can move their head, neck, and front feet out of our space, we will be considerably more safe during all of our interactions with them. Very similar to hindquarter yields, forequarter yields starts with lead rope management. We will wrap the lead rope around the horse's neck to get it out of the way. We hold the stick with both hands and use it to apply pressure to the head area with active body language. This whole region is in front of the drive line, and predictably, pressure applied there causes our horse to turn away from us. We are now looking for the near front foot to step over in front of the far front foot. As soon as this happens, we release. You can see that no contact is necessary, and she is motivated to move just by the motion of my pressure. Ultimately, we are looking for a full 360-degree pivot around our hind end, but again, it's important not to get greedy when we're introducing the concept. Here, we switch to the opposite side because we know that we have to practice both sides equally. We switch the lead rope to the other side because we're actually holding it in our hand during this exercise. This is a safety procedure that prevents her from running out in front of us and kicking us on the way out. You can see the lead rope in my hand that's closest to her withers right here. These seemingly small steps go a very long way in maintaining our safety with horses who've not seen these exercises. Obviously, there is very little danger that this horse will run off and kick me, but good safety habits lay down a great safety foundation. Once we're sure that she understands the concept, we can ask for more steps and release our pressure on the best one instead of the first one. The second goal of this exercise is to have those hind feet stay perfectly still, so I keep asking for steps until she pivots perfectly. Once she does, I release my pressure, I go back to neutral body language, and I give her a nice rub to let her know she succeeded. Now let's work with the horse that hasn't seen this exercise. We start with lead rope management again, and remember that we will keep this rope in our hand to ensure that we are in connection with the horse's head. Anytime we are applying pressure to the horse's body, we have to be sure that for safety, we can tip their nose toward us and their hind end away. We start the exercise by using the lightest pressure possible, our body language, and increase by tapping the air just in front of the horse's face. This motivates her to find the solution that I'm asking for. Remember, I want a step from her front foot, and as soon as I get it, I will release. Any other behavior that she offers, like lifting her head, I will just ignore, maintain pressure, and focus on her feet moving. As soon as I get the step I'm looking for, I release and rub. During the first 2 attempts, she didn't know what I was asking for, and she tried to release the pressure by lifting her head. If she's trying, there is no need for me to increase pressure to help her get the answer. She's already properly motivated to try. I only need to maintain the pressure to help her understand which action causes the release. If I increased pressure when she lifted her head, it would likely cause a much more reactive response like rearing up. If she's trying, I need to let her work it out and be ready to release when she gets it. She's obviously getting it here, so we'll do a few more repetitions to really solidify it in her mind. Each time that I'm able to apply pressure and give her a way to find the answer to release it, it's just one more repetition that adds to our communication. I am causing her to take action, and that creates a deep connection between us. In our first session with her, we've been able to achieve all of our goals for this exercise. First, we were able to move her forequarters away. Second, we were able to get her hindquarters to stay relatively still. And thirdly, we're only required to use minimal pressure on this side. So we'll switch over and practice on her right side. Spending this time with our horse, following a guided program that instills safety, gives us the confidence we need to start realizing the potential we have with our horse. Each time we practice these exercises, we are building on our relationship, working with and alongside our horse, teaching and learning. These shared experiences of taking action and problem solving create a bond that is difficult to replicate and teaches our horses a set of skills that they will use for the rest of their lives. We start the exercise on the right side of her body, just the same as we did on the left. We wrap the lead rope around her neck a few times to get it out of the way and so that it's accessible for us to hold for safety. Then we take an active body language stance and apply pressure near her head with the stick by tapping the air. As soon as she takes a step, we release and rub. While we always have to assume that the lesson learned on one side will not transfer to the other side, they sometimes do, and we can see here that it did. She doesn't have any resistance on this side like she did on the left. However, we still need to recognize that she's still in the learning phase and not get greedy by asking for too many steps here in the beginning. Each time we practice the exercise, we're looking to try to meet all of our goals. We're watching the front feet, looking for the near front foot to step in front of the far front foot. At the same time, we are trying to watch the hindquarters to see if they remain stationary while the forequarters pivots around and she moves in a circle. We can use our body position to get the right angle to help her turn correctly. If we're too far back, she will walk forward. If we're too far in front, she might not turn at all. Here I get a little too focused on looking for perfection in the hind end and I overwhelm her a little. She tries to release pressure by going under my arm, so I calmly go back to where I need to be, apply a small amount of pressure, and release as soon as I get the step from the front leg. I'll get one more repetition and find a spot where she is successful so that we can end the exercise on a positive note. There's a few good steps in the front end, so I will release and rub.